Good afternoon, hobbyists. This is going to be a quick video on painting skin, well, painting faces, human skin. Anyhow, for this video, I'm showing you one of my Empire halberdiers who I've about to do the third process in the way I paint human skin. So you can do the same process or just follow the sort of techniques I use. I painted one of his hands with this process already. You can see the difference in tone. And a finished halberdier I'll show you is this one. See the significant difference in brightness of their skin. This is just a Bugman's Glow with a Rhinox hide paint washed down and, well, watered down and washed into the recesses. Okay, let's do some of this painting now. Right, so I'm going to just paint his hand here so you can see some of the stuff I'm doing. Now what I do is I pick up the raised edges, such as his fingers and what you might call the tendons in his hand. Just draw lines along their hand where the tendons go and leave the sort of gaps between the fingers sort of following on from where the actual gaps between the fingers are, and that should give you a nice sort of impression of sort of texture and depth even on the back of his hand. You don't have to if you don't want to. It's just I find that works pretty well for giving a bit of texture, because even there's that detail isn't texture on the model, you can still paint certain ways to give the appearance of a grain or a texture, like painting hairlines or painting sort of fur streaks and such. So just picking out his fingertip here and picking out that one and just running the brush along the upper part of each of the fingers and leaving the gaps nice and dark to give that contrast, give it a 3D dynamic quality. Getting his thumb on the other side, if you can see. Got to carefully pick that out. I'm using a fine brush because I want it to be very good for this video, but you could use a standard brush if you got good brush control and just use the tip of it. Just yeah, it's all about brush control. Yeah. All right, let's see. Right, so that's his hand done. If you can see there, his hand is done, nice and bright, like his other hand. I'll move on to the face now. Now, with faces, you want to pick out all the raised parts, like the nose, the eyebrows, the jawline. I'll start with the jawline just to show you how you can sort of start with the chin and then work your way up along the jawline. Pick all of that out. Like so. Then I'll get a bit more paint on the brush. Right. You can also approach the jawline from the other side and go like so. Then I'll do the neck now. Get the neck out of the way. It's just trying to carefully get the brush in between the jacket and hat and such. Just carefully get in there. So nice and quick. Just draw it along there. Now I'm going to go under the jawline, along the chin and such to get that part. Oh, I can't see that too well, but it's there. Alright, I'll try again. This side, showing you this side. Let's see, get a good angle. There we go. Alright, so trying to paint out his neck here. Yeah, got that nicely. If you could see that. And get his ear now. Just paint along the raised part of his ear to pick it out and leave the inner part nice and dark, so it looks like there's a bit of depth to his ear. Can you see that properly? Yeah, okay. Next part. Doing the jawline on this side of the model. Just carefully bring it along the jawline, then bring it up alongside the ear. But when you bring it up alongside the ear, make sure you don't go into the ears, sort of the recess of the ear, so you got the sort of appearance of there being a sort of darker hole, you know, where leading into his head from the ear. Right. Now from the front again, I'm going to paint his nose, if I can get this to show nicely. Just carefully approach the brush and start with the far edge of it and pick out the nose to get the nice sort of defined look. You can see that, he's just only had his nose painted, nice and bright compared to his dark sort of pink skin. This is a more orange color. Now I'm just going to pick out his cheekbones, because cheeks are another race part. Like, there's an old picture in the previous edition of How to Paint Citadel Miniatures which shows the raised parts, the chin, the cheekbones, the nose, the parts of the lips, the parts of the eyebrows you want to pick out when you're painting them. And with heights, you want to just leave the darkest parts, the deepest recesses showing as part of the previous coat. Now, you can also, when you're using paint with a fair bit of water in it, you can also put less pressure on sort of transitional parts and get a thinner coating of paint to have some of the previous layer showing, but not all of it. So that can give you a nice effect where you can get more than one level of brightness with just one process, but just applying again and again the watered down paint, and you can get some parts which have all of the previous layer and some parts which have less of the previous layer showing through. So you get a nice transition through the layers. It's not just black and white, this layer, that layer. You can blend. It's what's called blending the layers together, or apart, maybe, depending how you want to look at it. Trying to pick out eyelids is very hard, particularly on this guy's little face, but I'll try. And eyelids usually end up painting over eyelids anyway when you try and do the eyes, and you have to paint the eyelids again. Just going to try and get his lips. Oh man, I can barely see it. Just going to try and get his lips into this one. Alright. There we go, picking out his chin a bit more, his lower lip. You can see that, can you see it? Oh man, I can barely see it. Oh well. Alright, so trying to get the lips showing there. And his halberd keeps getting in the way. Alright. So that's his face, picking out the cheeks and trying to leave some darkness to the hollows of the cheeks. That's another thing. You should try and leave a bit of darkness in the hollows of the cheeks, so that gives the face a more three-dimensional look. You can sort of see all that. So as you can see, his face has seems a lot lighter now after that one layer on it. Screwed that up. I should have been looking at what I was doing. Oh well. The point is I showed you the technique. Just carefully painting all that up onto the face there. And you can still see, even with this lousy resolution, that there's a fair amount of, there's a nice 3D look to it, because I've kept the recesses fairly dark. You can see the ear, the eyes. It's not a very good quality image. I should get a better camera, but hey, this is what I got for now. This is a same sort of head with that process that's already been done, and this is another head that's had the same process done. As you can see, they're both fairly light. And I'm about to show you one of my heroes. He's a wizard model that I did for a painting competition a while ago. So I put out all the stops with him. Was very careful. Took a while and went through a lot of processes. My sort of average tabletop standard gets 1, 2, 3, 4, say 4 processes for the skin. The wizard here, this wizard that I did, he got about 7. And as you can see, there's a lot more depth and texture to his skin. You can see nipples, belly button. You can see a bit more of his eyes and lips, and even the detail on his hands. I went to a lot of trouble to give him several layers of washing and layering. My brushwork wasn't as controlled back then. It was a bit shoddier brushwork, but I took my time and worked very carefully, so you can see pretty good detail and extreme highlights, trying to pick out bits of his skin and give a nice texture to it as well. Again, that close enough? No, too close. Too close. There. That's probably as good as you'll get. Very nice looking wizard. And there's what is it? So aside from knowing which parts of the face to pick out with the layers, there's other things you can do, like washing. Washing is a great way to add depth to an otherwise flat-looking model. And it can also be used to give certain, special effects. Special effects. This is a harpy I painted, and I'm not sure if the camera will show this very well, but I gave a purple wash around their eyes to give that sort of nice look to their eye there, if you can see that nicely. Yeah, I put a little bit of watered down purple wash around their eyes, because if you look at someone's eyes, you'll notice it's a lot of new tissue, so it can be a bit of a darker hue on their eyes compared to the rest of their face. You could also rosy up the cheeks if you want to with a bit of red glaze or red wash and just give them a rosier look, or make someone look fairly hot in the face and all that. And these harpies have much paler skin compared to the halberdier here, or even the wizard over here. The harpies were meant to be very pale of skin because I figured harpies were nocturnal, so they don't get a lot of sunlight, so it just made them nice and pale, and contrast with the dark hair and wings very nicely. Anyhow, let's get this off the line. There we go. There we go. And now you can see I didn't start with my usual intro because of the difficulties I was having with getting the camera to be in the right spot, because when you're trying to use a webcam, it's not exactly easy. So I'm Brent, and that was a short video, a few tips on how to paint faces. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and put any comments you want about it. Let me know if you liked the video. I really appreciate it. Not really a lot going on with the channel for a while. I was going to do some more work on my Lisbon, so I'll probably post a video with me painting some Lisbon heroes. And I was going to do a terrain piece soon. I've got a Citadel wood to work on over there, so that'll be nice. And yeah, there'll be some Lisbon, some trees in some of my next videos, and possibly some Chaos Warhammer. So I just picked up some of them, was putting a bit of them into my Beastman army. So hope you enjoyed, and have a good day.